Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Hopeful Chewbacca back at the Church of Chewbacca, and today we're going to go over 3 more subscribers' teams, give them some team advice. And today we have up Dallas Mavericks, Sir Lassi, as well as The Miz. Going to knock out these 3 teams, put their original team and then my team advice side by side after we go over a quick overview of each of their teams. Let's get into it. First up, we're going to go over the Dallas Mavericks. And looking at his team, he has Glenn Anderson, Joe Thornton, and Howie Morenz, silver icon on the first line. The Glenn Anderson is a 94 flashback. The Joe Thornton is a Winter National Christmas gift. For his first defensive pair, he has blockbuster Seth Jones at 90 overall and primetime Mark Giordano, 90 overall. Second line is going to be Alexander Ovechkin, 87 primetime, 90 overall Sean Couturier, fantasy hockey, with 90 overall silver icon Johnny Busick to finish out the second line forwards. Second defensive pair is going to be Sergei Gonchar and Radko Gudas. The Gudas is going to be the Winter National blockbusters for the Gonchar. Third liners are going to be Dion and Lemieux bronze icons with Jonathan Drouin, 87 primetime card. Team of the week, 85 overall, Justin Falk and bronze icon Brian Leetch are going to be the third defensive pair. For the fourth liners, we have Dale Howard-Chuck, bronze icon, with Mikko Koivu and Rudolph's Balcers Winter National cards to finish out the fourth liner. For the goaltending, it's going to be primetime 90 overall Henrik Lundqvist, and then Adam O'Ree is going to be the backup goaltender that has distributor and Spark, with Brad Rome as Spark for his coach, which puts his synergies at Gladiator, Howitzer, Passing Playmaker, and Light the Lamp for player synergies. Then he has Distributor and Spark for his team synergies. Let's see what we can do to solidify some positions on the team. We probably won't switch synergies too much, because if we did, we'd have to really rework the entire team. But let's see what we can do to solidify this lineup a little bit. The original team is going to be on the right, and my team review is going to be on the left. And actually, when we're looking at this, we did get a whole other team synergy, as well as some more player synergies, or at least better player synergies, in my opinion. So let's see what we did here. For the reviewed team here, we have Anderson, Thornton, and then we're going to bring this Austin Matthews. I think this is a guy you should pick for your style icon, free 94 overall. I just recently did a video rating them 1 through 8, and Austin Matthews at the top of the list. The biggest reason is because of his Howitzer and Spark that I mentioned in that video, and they are very important to this team build. As we go through it, we're going to keep Jones and Giordano on your first defensive pair. This Anderson, when you activate Barrage, actually is a very filthy card. I think he's one of the better budget cards for the value that you got to pay. He's in the low 100,000s, whether it's on PlayStation or Xbox. I think on PlayStation, you actually get him for under 100K. He does have 2 howitzer, which is huge, but he gets with a 96 speed with 89 acceleration, 90 agility. If you wanted to take off the barrage, just so you kind of know what you're dealing with just distributor, spark, and howitzer, which was what this team had for him. He does get up to 95 for the wrist shot slap shot power, then 89 for the accuracies on the shot. Big time body checker, big time is checking category. Just really like this card. I think he's a great budget monster for what you're getting out of him. For the second line, we're going to take Ovechkin, Couturier, and Morenz is going to bump down from the first line to the second line. Keep Gonchar. I think you should pick up this John Carlson. He's about 200K now, 250K on PlayStation. On Xbox, I'm not really sure what his price is, but this card plays way above his attributes. Another guy that has howitzer, gets with a 91 speed, 89 acceleration, great slap shot at 98. Slapshot power with 89 slapshot accuracy whenever you do have the barrage activated, as we do in this team build. Great body checking, and then it once again has a great checking category, 93 stick checking, 92 defensive awareness. Very good hands, minus the deking and hand-eye is not the best, but you get nice passing, puck control, and offensive awareness out of this Carlson as well, a.k.a. the wheelman from the Hut Halloween. Gonchar being untradeable, obviously going to keep him in the second defensive pair. For the third line, we have some big upgrades here. We have Marcel Dion coming in, get him into the silver icon so that you can activate Light the Lamp, as well as you need that extra spark if you're going to bring in Barrage. Lemieux's going to stay the third line center. Johnny Busick just goes down from the second line to the third line. Since we brought in that Matthews, Morenz and Busick have to go down a line. For the defensive third pair, we bring in this Cale Makar at 90 overall fantasy hockey. Now, you can switch him with the John Carlson if you want, but I just put him and Bork down here because they're not necessarily necessary pieces, but if you want to get Barrage, they are. By bringing in this Ray Bork, the reason I brought him in particular was that it allows you to activate this workhorse on this Johnny Busick, and one of the biggest downsides of this Johnny Busick is his skating, but you can get up to 93 acceleration if you activate workhorse, so that's big, as well as it makes the Ray Bork a lot better card as well, because it gives a 95 acceleration, which means he'll be very quick on defense. I've gone over this Ray Bork card more than once. He's an absolute monster when you get the silver icon version of him, so I just think him and Johnny Busick together are a match made in heaven. Plus, they both are Boston Bruins, so it just makes a lot of sense. On your fourth line, we got Dale Howard-Chuck upgrading to the silver icon, which allows you to keep the spark. Once again, this Dion and Howard-Chuck necessarily don't need to be upgraded. You can get some other pieces in here for the spark rather than this Bork and Makar and keep the same team that you already have because you already have it activated. I just went off the Barrage because it's players that you already have on your team. Get you a third team synergy as well as it activates some more player synergies. Mikko Koivu also gets the bump with Light the Lamp whenever you upgrade this Dion. By doing that, the Mikko Koivu, because Light the Lamp is going to give you balance, wrist shot accuracy, offensive awareness, and hand-eye at +3, makes the Mikko Koivu a little bit better. With all this stuff activated, he actually puts it to an 88.5 compared to just at 86. Very good fourth line center in my personal opinion. Skates very well, has a good height to weight proportion, that Koivu. Balcers is going to stay on the fourth right wing. Lundqvist and Ori can be your goaltender still. And of course, we're going to trade out this Brad Rome for Dale Peterson. That's one of the reasons why you have to upgrade the Howard-Chuck, Dion. If you don't bring in this Peterson, you're not going for Barrage, you can keep Brad Rome, and you actually don't have to upgrade to Howard-Chuck and Dion, but I still recommend that you get some other defensive players down here. Particularly, I do think the Silver Ray Bork is huge, at the very least for the Johnny Busick, or finding two defensemen that have workhorse. They're a little bit harder to find. I do think this John Carlson needs to come in because your defensive core was very poor. Gudis, Falk, Leach, that's not really getting it done. These three guys are fine with the Jones, Giordano, and Gonchar, but I do think you need to have some upgrades for these three guys in the Gudis, Falk, and Leach, and I think we did that. It just gives you some options. I do think this John Carlson is at a very, very good price right now for a master set player. If you were to go with this Barrage build that we just went over, you have Gladiator, Howitzer, Passing Playmaker, Light the Lamp, and Workhorse as your player synergy. So we just activate Workhorse compared to the 4 player synergies you had, as well as we have Barrage, Distributor, and Spark. I think this is a very good long-term goal to go after for your team. They'd be very solid. They'd skate well. They'd have great slap shots. And I just really think that overall, this is a way forward for your team. Do you have to go with the Barrage build? No, you don't. Direct message me if you want to maybe go for, let's say, Swarm or Balance. We can definitely do that. I just think Barrage made the most sense because you already had the Glenn Anderson that was untradeable. You have Lundqvist as your goalie that has Barrage. So that was already giving you 2 points, and I kind of just rolled with it, as well as you actually had 3 points with a Gonchar. So you had 2 untradables, plus your goaltender had Barrage. And I figured, hey, maybe we can add some Barrage to that. I hope the review helps you kind of guide you of what you should work towards. Just let me know in the comments down below. The second team up for review is going to be Sir Lassi's team. On his first line, he has Guy Lafleur, Sean Couturier, and Patrick Kane, team of the week 89 overall. For his first defensive pair, he has Jeff Petrie, team of the week 89, and he has Pierre-Olivier Joseph for his first line right defense, 88 overall in NHL 2030. Second liners are Lemieux, the primetime 86 overall Dylan Larkin, and Nico Hischier is on the second right wing. Then he has Rado Gudis and Keith Yandel primetime. The Gudis is the same winter national from the last team. Bronze icons Curry and Neuendijk are on the third line with Ili Tolvanen. Then Jonas Halas and Brian Marchment are on the third defensive pair. Fourth liners are Jean-Gabriel Pajot, Bronze Daryl Sidler, and Mikhail Abramov, as well as Mike Smith and Frederick DeChow, the goaltenders, as Mike Smith is the 84 primetime with Brian Fiddler as the coach. For the synergies, we have Howitzer, Speedster, Wingman, and Workhorse. So actually very, very good player synergies. Those are probably the top 4 player synergies. You can maybe argue a Thief, Light the Lamp, Gladiator might be pretty close depending on who they're on, but definitely these are all the great skating player synergies. And he has Spark and Distributor, so his team skates very well, but I think we can make a few improvements, especially solidify some positions like Gudis and Halas. Let's see what we can do. His original team will be on the right. My team review will be on the left as always. You're looking at Guy Lafleur. We're bringing in style icons Matthews. Once again, he just really fits in because of his synergies. I thought about maybe putting Ovechkin on this team or even Subban because you do need an extra spark whenever I rebuild this a little bit. But we stayed with this Austin Matthews because he has the Thief and he has the Howitzer, and we need that for this rebuild. Kane's going to stay on the first right wing. Then we have Petrie and Joseph going to stay on the first defensive pair. So pretty much the same. Couturier is just going to get the bump to the second line that we're about to go over right now with Lemieux, Couturier. We're going to bring in this Silver Daryl Sittler all the way from the fourth line as we had on this team build, but he's going to come in and play second line right wing with his silver icon. Very big to have this speedster to have 2 points and a 2 distributor. For his second defensive pair, we have Shattenkirk and Yandel. This Yandel, I've talked about this card before. He's absolutely filthy with 94 speed, 95 acceleration, a great shot, 89 defense awareness, and 90 stick checking. Isn't the best, but he's a monster at an offensive defenseman. But this is still very good for an 87 overall. He plays it to a 90.3 with the 4 synergies activated. We're going to get rid of this Gudis, bring in the Shattenkirk, which actually allows you to activate Gladiator for some other cards. Curry's going to be bronze icon on the third line. We got Joe Nieuwendyk upgraded to the silver icon. Then Nico Hischier is going to be the third right wing. From the second right wing, just bump him down a line. Bringing this Justin Falk and Brian Marchment can stay on the line. The Justin Falk, when you have all the synergies activated, 90 speed, 90 acceleration, 91 agility. Pretty hard shot, not the most accurate. Has 88 defense awareness, 89 stick checking, pretty good passing and puck control. Body checking and strength are great numbers as well. I know we did replace him on the last team, but the last team was going for Barrage. That's kind of why we replaced him. I do think this is actually a very good budget card if you can get his synergies activated. For the fourth line, we got Alex DeBrincat. Dylan Larkin's going to go all the way from the second line to the fourth line center. Then we're bringing this Thomas Tatar's Team of the Week 88 overall. The DeBrincat is going to be the 85 overall Team of the Week. We can keep Smith and DeChow. What I want to go over with this DeBrincat is 96 speed, 93 acceleration, so a great skater on the fourth line. He does have Thief and Speedster, which helps a lot. It makes his stick checking all the way up to a 90. Also, by activating Thief, this Dylan Larkin becomes tenfold better. 99 acceleration with these synergies, 93 speed. The shot's not that great, but he's a fourth line center, so we're getting him a little bit more for defense than we are for offense. He has 92 faceoffs with 94 stick checking with the Thief as well. Just an excellent card. Tatar's another guy. You get the acceleration up to 95, 91 speed. Get up to 93 stick checking. You have a nice little speedy fourth line that can cause a lot of havoc. Peugeot is one of my favorite budget cards, but I think on this build we have to replace him as well as Abramov. Sittler obviously gets that bump all the way to second right wing here. So I just think this line can just be a havoc-causing fourth line of DeBrincat, Larkin, and Tatar. I think that's a great one. And we already went over Smith and DeChow being your goaltenders. Fiddler can stay your coach. What this does is it activates all of the player synergies. Not all of them really, but it does activate a lot. You get Gladiator, Howitzer, Speedster, Thief, Wingman, and Workhorse. So we add the Thief and Gladiator in this build. We keep Distributor and Spark, and I think you'll have a very, very fast team that will cause a lot of havoc. The biggest things that I would upgrade, if you can find places for it, is you could get maybe a different defenseman that has Howitzer, but I do think Justin Falk fits in here perfect with the Gladiator. As well, if you could find a guy that has Spark and Speedster on defense, there's only a few, and a lot of them are super expensive, like the Jack Johnson's Winter National, but that card's really, really pricey. The Marchment's just going to have to do, even though he's a little bit slower. But playing him with that Justin Falk, he will be more than fine. Definitely would get rid of this Jonas Halas with Marchment. I don't think that's a good skating pair. As you can see, 88 speed, 90 acceleration. Not terrible, but his defense isn't good. It's just one guy's fast, doesn't really play good defense. The other guy's kind of slow, even though he does play pretty good defense. I think this is the way to go. Let me know in the comments down below. You can always direct message me on Discord, and we can talk about it a little bit more. But I think this build right here will cause a lot of havoc, especially on the front end. The last team we're going to go over is for The Miz. I know that the account says Kelly Martin, but he goes by The Miz. Unfortunately, he lost the World Heavyweight title, or the WWE title, recently to my man Bobby Lashley. Shout out to The Miz. I hope he's not crying in the corner too much. As for the starting lineup, we have Teemu Selanne, Sean Couturier. We're bringing this Austin Matthews, best style icon. Once again, fits the synergies. He has the 94 Sean Couturier, silver icon Teemu Selanne. Then he has 91 overall, Nicholas Hansen, Frosted Flakes, baby. They're great. Then we're looking at the team of the year, Victor Hedman, another amazing defenseman. For the second line, we have Guy Lafleur, Mario Lemieux, past meets present, and the silver icon, Joe Sakic. Second defensive pair, we have Al McGinnis, Silver Icon, with Silver Icon Scott Niedermeyer. As you can see on this team, there's a lot of untradables. He did tell me I can replace whoever I need to replace to activate more team synergies, just so you guys know going forward. Third liner is going to be Brock Besser. Then we have Matthew Barzal, primetime 90 overall. This is actually a surprisingly good card. Then Andrei Svechnikov's Winter National, one of the Christmas gifts. And Almiri Aronin and Thomas Shabbat, primetime 89. For the fourth line, we have Synergy veteran TJ Oshie, Julius Natanen, 87 overall, European Hockey Club, and Nicholas Robertson's NHL 2030. For the goaltenders, we have Andrei Vasilevsky, 97 overall. And we have Jacques Plante with Brian Fiddler. The only request was to keep Vasilevsky. We'll see if we have to keep this 97 overall version or if we have to drop him down to the 95 based on the synergies that we need to keep activated and get activated here. As always, his original team will be on the right. My team review will be on the left. For the first line, we are not switching anything. Solani, Couturier, Matthews, Hansen, as well as Hedman is going to be the first line. The second line, nothing to really change either, other than let's upgrade the Guy Lafleur to 93 overall, as well as the Mario Lemieux. Sakic is going to stay the same with McGinnis and Niedermeyer. Obviously going to stay in this line. We have to upgrade this Lafleur. Not really, but we can upgrade him. We could keep him at the 88 because we won't need the Speedster or the Swarm necessarily, because as you can see, we're one extra point. He was kind of like a bonus. I just figured you already have a stacked team. Might as well upgrade the guy and make him even a little bit better, even though I think this 88 is very, very sufficient. When you actually compare these guys side by side, there's not a huge difference. There's definitely a difference, but it's not over the top different. Activate Swarm, just so you know. You do get +4 though on him. I mean, he fills out a lot of his weaknesses, but his skating is still very, very good at the bronze icon, where I don't think you're losing too much. But the shot here being pretty much maxed at 99 on the silver icon is pretty huge in my opinion. So upgrade him if you want, but you can keep him at the 88. He's not mandatory. I just think that should be somebody you work on. For the third line, we have Besser. We're going to bring in Steve Yzerman, keep Svechnikov on the right wing. Yzerman is being brought in to activate Swarm. You could also bring in Bobby Clark if you want. I just thought maybe the Yzerman might fit in a little bit better. It seems like you don't mind right wingers up the middle, so I picked Yzerman. You can bring in Bobby Clark or anybody else that has 2 Swarm to fill this third center spot. But Yzerman was the fit for me. Get him up to 94.2 with all your synergies. He's 91 speed, 92 acceleration, 93 agility. Great shot at 92 plus, but really it's more towards 94 plus. Maxed hands, great body checking. He has 93 faceoffs, 98 stick checking, 99 defense awareness. There's not too many times I go against Bobby Clark, but I do think this Yzerman is actually a little bit better. For the third defensive pair, bring in this Chris Chelios silver icon, and then Samuel Girard, because you need the 2 Swarm here. We're going to bring out Shabbat and Aronin and get rid of these 2 cards. For the fourth line, we have Oshie. Matthew Barzal gets the bump from the third center to the fourth center. Nicholas Robertson is going to stay on the team here in the fourth right wing. Vasilevsky, we get to keep the 97 overall. You could go back to 95 overall, since I think you had that card at one point in time. That's more than fine. This Plante looks like he is a tradable card. I would bring in this 91 overall Billy Smith. Do you necessarily have to? No, but you're definitely going to have to find somebody with at least 2 distributors at your goaltender here. Does it have to be Billy Smith? No, it doesn't, but you're going to have to find 2 distributor to keep the distributor activated. I just have Billy Smith there because it seems like he could be a reasonable fit for using distributor and Swarm. You could also just upgrade this Jacques Plante. Originally with the Vasilevsky to 95, I wasn't sure if you would get this upgraded enough time by the time we did this review. I know you were going for it. And the 95 obviously had Spark, so we wanted to make sure that you had enough Swarm with this Billy Smith. Looking at the coach here, we have Brian Fiddler. Makes a lot of sense. You need the distributor. So for your player synergies, we're going to keep them the same. Howitzer, Speedster, and Magician. Your team synergies are going to be Balance, Distributor, Spark, and Swarm. That's the best way you can activate Swarms, by bringing this Yzerman. You're going to have to bring in Billy Smith, Girard to get some more Swarm points since you only have 2 Swarm on this team, as well as upgrading the Lafleur. All helps, gives you an extra point of Swarm. Oh, by the way, Vasilevsky obviously has Swarm, but you can see that's part of the 2 points. So to get Swarm activated on this team, you have to bring in the Yzerman, or at least somebody that has 2 Swarm, as well as a defenseman that has 2 Swarm. Now, this could be Brad Park over here instead of Samuel Girard, but Girard is cheaper than that Park is, at least the last time I looked, which is why I brought in Girard over Park. But I do really like the Brad Park silver icon. The Billy Smith, as I said, you're going to have to get at least 2 distributor and Swarm out of this card, so I figured that we would just keep the Billy Smith here at goaltender, because you need to have that Swarm point as well as distributor. Just something to think about. I think that that's probably the biggest change to keep this swarm. You can always message me. Let me know in the comments down below. We'll figure out if maybe you don't like the Eiserman pick, you don't like the Gerard pick. We'll find somebody else, as well as maybe Billy Smith is out of your price range for what you're willing to pay for a backup goaltender. But if you want to get Swarm activated, you're going to have to make some big boy moves on Swarm with guys with a couple points in Swarm to get that activated. The rest of your team's pretty amazing. A lot of untradeable guys, so I know that anybody you do add is going to have to be kind of just like a loss of coins on top of adding more coins to get the player that you need. So that will be very interesting. And let's talk it out if you don't necessarily like the couple guys that I added. That's going to wrap up the team advice and team reviews of Dallas Mavericks, Sir Lassi, and The Miz. Hopefully these reviews helped you guys out. For anybody that's watching these videos, let me know in the comments down below if there are some holes that maybe you could plug into their team that would fit their team a little bit better than what I gave advice of. If you want to have your team reviewed by me, it's 3 easy steps. First, you have to subscribe to the channel. Second, you have to join the Discord. The link will be in the description down below. Third, you're going to have to drop the URL from your team for NHL Hut Builder into the proper channel that's labeled subscriber, team URL channel. Put your team in there. I'll add you to the queue. It's first come, first serve, so your team will get reviewed. There's a little bit of a backlog of the queue. I'm catching up on all the videos this week for sure, so hopefully the queue will be knocked at least in half, if not more, if we can get to that many teams throughout the week. Your team will get reviewed, I promise, as well as we have a pretty strong community in the Discord already that gives each other advice as it is. As always, guys, I appreciate all of your support. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with any of your friends that play NHL 21. You guys have a great day and be safe.